I'm Giselle, and I draw sometimes. I don't usually enjoy talking, but I wanted to get out of my comfort zone and do something different. Today I came across an artist named Shin-Yu. I'm sorry if I butchered the name, so I'm trying to base it off this pronunciation that I tried to learn earlier.
新月
Shin-Yu. But yeah, I will link their art station in the description below if you want to check it out. I don't really know much about this artist besides the fact that they're based in China. From what their art station is, it looks like they do more character design, and I think they do a little bit of game design as well. They also have a Weibo account, and I don't read Chinese, so I can't really read any of what they're saying. So, moving on. What really struck me about the art is their shape language. You can see how Shin-Yu breaks down the body using shapes. You can also see it in the hair and even the shading. And when you break it down into shapes, you can still see the figure of the drawing and what action they're doing. So, for my first attempt, I wanted to do something with a background. I'm trying to challenge myself this year to have characters within an environment so I could just expand what I can do. Back then, I've only did photo studies of girls and girls' faces from Pinterest, and I really needed a change. I had a big liking towards this one Mew Mew outfit because it's something that I really wish to wear one day. So I just wanted to draw my Final Fantasy XIV character in this clothes, and she's in the runway like in the reference photo I'm using. To be honest, I think I was kind of rushing this artwork because for that day I specifically wrote on my to-do list, don't spend too long on one artwork, because before I kind of spent 8 hours on one artwork, and I don't really like spending a long time. Even though art really takes a long time to create, I want to learn how to draw faster, so yeah, I didn't want to spend a long time. Right now, I'm trying to color the background first before I do my character. And I think this is the best approach for me because when I draw the environment first, I get to figure out what the lighting situation is first. After I draw the background, I start to paint my character. And once I finish painting the base colors, I put down the shading. Since I already know the lighting of the background, it's easy to put the shading down because I already know what the environment's like. To be honest, I don't usually paint with the opacity of the line art really low. This is kind of the first time I tried to do it because I think I saw an Instagram artist that did this. I felt like it was something that would be useful for me because I'm not really a line art type of girl. I consider myself a lazy artist. I don't like it when my art looks clean. I like everything slightly messy, but also constrained at the same time. Pretty much my room. I'm trying to remember the artist, but I really can't remember. Wait, actually it wasn't from Instagram, it was from YouTube. She goes by the name of Jackie Jutsko. I'm sorry if I butchered that again, but I was watching her. I learned how to paint portraits in 24 hours and I saw her methods and I just wanted to try that. Even though I'm supposed to be studying Shin-Yu, but I like to keep things a bit diverse when I study. By the way, every artist that I've talked about in the video will be linked down below, so be sure to check the description if you're interested in anyone. I wasn't feeling the coloring I was doing right now though, so as you can see, I'm trying to learn the lines again so it could be a little bit cleaner, even though I just said I'm not a clean person. But Even though these lines are still pretty sketchy, so I tried to make clean sketchy lines, I guess. Yeah. I'm kind of happy that I did the clean sketch again because it helped me figure out exactly what the details were. And one thing I do not like about coloring though is like trying to get everything within the lines. At this point, I was kind of getting really lazy and I just wanted to get this over with. I don't know if you've been noticing the timestamp on the top right of the video, but as you can see, I think it's probably like 50 minutes into the drawing now, and I'm still only on the base coloring. And by this point, I guess I just really wanted to get this over with, but I needed to finish this because I need more finished artworks and this cannot be in my work in progress. After I did the base coloring, I changed my coloring technique again, and I got this technique from an artist named 𝑠𝑜𝑐𝑖𝑐𝑖𝑎𝑙𝑠. And the way 𝑠𝑜𝑐𝑖𝑐𝑖𝑎𝑙𝑠 colors is that she relies on her lasso tool to constrain where she's drawing, and by doing that, you can be sure that you're not coloring anywhere else but where you're selected. And like I said earlier, I'm a lazy artist and sometimes I go outside of the lines where I don't want to be. So using the lasso tool is like really helps me keep in check. And I've seen a lot of industry artists use this technique. It's just that when I watched 𝑠𝑖𝑛𝑑𝑒𝑟 do it, I really loved how her colors look and how she uses it in a stylized way. So I wanted to keep her in my brain. Kind of a weird way to say it, but I like to have artists in my mind so I can remind myself of their techniques. And at this point, guess I'm pretty done with the coloring and shading and all that stuff, and I already put my rim lighting as well. So I'm just trying to overpaint the drawing now and make the lines less apparent in the drawing. So I'll let this time lapse keep going until the end. Oh, and by the way, I did put a little bit of texture using one of my texture brushes and even the rake tool. Honestly, I love how the rake tool has flourished after 𝑠𝑎𝑚 does it a lot. I don't know, I think it brings a little bit of character of everyone's art. Now here, the colors are flashing a little bit, and that's because I'm trying to adjust the colors so that it fits the environment a little bit more. And now, we have the final product. I'm not really sure how to feel about it, to be honest. Like I said earlier, I think it was because I was trying to rush it. I wasn't feeling my coloring for whatever reason. I guess I feel like I needed a little bit more contrast. But overall, I'm not bad about it, but I'm not also good about it either. But this was good practice. And now, I tried to do another attempt at this coloring style. And at this point, I wasn't really fixated on Shin-Yu's coloring style. I just wanted to have their techniques in my mind, along with other artists' techniques. And this time I was drawing Kagome from Inuyasha. Honestly, I thought this was a kind of simple character to draw, but her bangs kind of threw me off. Like, something about the 90s anime and bangs that was really flamboyant. But it didn't bother me, it was alright. But I did not want to stick with the line art situation like Shin-Yu does. Because I really despise line art. It makes me feel bad doing it. But I do appreciate all the line art artists doing their thing. I feel like it's really pretty, but it's just something I can't do for the life of me. So at this point, I decided I would just do the clean, sketchy line art, and then I will put my base coloring down. And from my base coloring, I would select and deal with each item one by one. So I would do the skin first, and then the front bangs, and then the back hair, and then the clothes and all that. But one thing I try to do the same from Shinyu's technique is that I try to bring in the shapes into the shadows. I feel like it was apparent on Kagome's shirt, where I tried to use shapes as their shadows. And I feel like I was pretty successful with it. Honestly, again, I'm not really impressed with this drawing again, but it's not terrible, but it's also not good. Maybe it's just the perfectionist inside me? Either way, I still love Kagome, so yeah. These days, I like to put notes on my drawings, so when I look back at it, I can be like, oh, what blending mode did I use on this shading? Or like, what references was I using when I was drawing it? And I think it's very helpful. Sometimes you forget what techniques you've been using, and looking back at your old stuff, it might give you a refresher. Now, I'm almost done with the artwork at this point. I'm just rendering the final touches. Then I put a little bit of noise on top of the artwork, so I have a little bit of texture going on instead of being it smooth. And this is the final. I'm okay. It's alright. I definitely like the shapes that I put on her. Yeah, I don't really have any rage of it. It's fine. I guess the style just didn't feel right to me. Like, specifically the face. I don't know, but it's just did not suit me and what I usually do. And it happens sometimes. Like, sometimes your faces look off, maybe your proportions as well. I think it's fine. I don't want to keep focusing on like what my art style is. Because I think it's good to have different styles, so you're not hyper fixated on one thing. So when something looks off, you're just like, it's okay. It's fine if it doesn't look like all of your other artworks. And these are the other stuff I was working on after I took in what I've learned. I didn't get a chance to record them because either I forgot or I was just hyper fixated on it that I didn't want to like focus on other things while I was doing it. But yeah, I tried to work on clouds, try to maintain shape language on there. And I did a little bit of illustration that I had in my mind for a while. Again, I'm not happy with it. I'm just glad I did it. Maybe I'll draw it again when I get a little bit better. And if you made it to the end, thanks for watching. Maybe I'll ramble a little bit more on some other things. And maybe it was also helpful for you. And I hope you are inspired. Or maybe you learned a little bit something from me. And that makes me happy. I like teaching others, but not actually teaching. I'm a bad teacher. I just like to talk about what I did. Yeah. Alright, bye guys.